Good morning from the park. Basically, I wish to issue a kind of apology to a viewer who I had an argument with on my YouTube channel yesterday. It's not what I said, it's how I say it. Basically, he seemed, from my perspective, to be claiming that the ill treatment of his relatives by a certain short-ass failed artist, vegan Austrian, and his regime justifies the Israeli regime's brutal treatment of the Palestinians. I basically stated I didn't give up about his relatives. That was wrong. What I should have said is that it's largely irrelevant. And the Palestinian teenager who witnessed his grandmother and grandfather have their home demolished to make way for an Israeli settlement in the West Bank, the Jewish teenager who witnessed his parents being blown up by a car bomb and was maimed himself, there is no difference between them. They are both being conditioned to follow the cycle of hate that has gone on for generations in such conflict zones. Here in the UK, we had our same thing in Northern Ireland. Generations of pro-British and pro-Irish families loathed, despised and feuded with each other because of this. The legacy of bitterness is probably still there today to certain people, although that situation has quietened down a lot. Because both sides have realised that the cycle of violence is not the way to do it. Hopefully. And this is my point. There are still English people who despise the Germans for what happened to their relatives in World War II. Morning. There are still English people, British people if you like, who despise the Japanese for treatment of their relatives in prisoner of war camps, which was brutal, horrifying and unjustified. But these things have to be let go. They really do. And this was the point, because I was a bit drunk, I made it rather too harshly, and I apologise, Michael Barclay. This was the point I was trying to make. Badly. The more you hold on to that grudge, much as the Israeli regime holds on to a grudge, the more of a chip on your shoulder you get about this, the more you are going to support any extreme action. No, even I can see the harsh logic of Israel's tactics. You suspect there's a nest of Islamic militants in a tower block, you flatten it. To hell with civilian casualties. This is the Israeli logic. And I will not stand by and accept that. As for the other point Mr. Barclay disagreed with, no, I believe that if you work for a company that has questionable dealings with questionable regimes, you should think about that, and you should think twice about working for them. You know, don't work for Barclays Bank, get a job at Nationwide or the Cooperative Bank, where they bank ethically and responsibly. Well, that's what they advertise themselves as. Morning. Don't work for a firm like Barclays that has been involved in dubious stuff over the years. You don't like war? Don't work for an arms manufacturer, even if perhaps it is your field of expertise. You don't like the way the stock market works? Don't be a stockbroker. There are other things you can be doing. It won't earn you as much money, maybe, but what is more important? Your money or your morals? This is something we all face every single day of our lives, I think. If you don't think about it, are you really worth bothering with? Ask yourself that question. Because I think if you don't question anything, just bow your head, carry on regardless, you're not really thinking like a human being, are you? You are merely a slave. And apparently, I don't drink Kool-Aid, by the way, Mr. Barclay. It's American stuff. I don't think we can even get it over here. And, the reference to the Jonestown cult. What? That went over my head a bit. If you're insinuating that I'm appearing as some kind of, cult leader or follower of a cult, neither. You started on personal attacks right away, Mr. Barclay. Smokey is a filthy, disgusting. I'm sure you've got some filthy, disgusting habits, Mr. Barclay. One of which appears to be making personal attacks against YouTubers. That's a filthy, disgusting habit, in my opinion. Yeah. Oh, it's quite warm out here. But no, so I reiterate the point, and I apologise for the way I put this. What I should have said is your relative's experience should be irrelevant to the current situation. Fly. Because if we continue to bear grudges against other countries for the actions of people in most circumstances long dead, and continue to support and bear those grudges in the name of people who are long dead, then nothing will ever change. Nothing will ever improve, because you'll have generations hating each other still over something that happened a century ago. And what kind of way is that to... Oh, those are little flies. What kind of way is that to move forward as a species? We will not move forward as a species until people don't forget the past. Learn from it. Don't forget the past. But don't... I'm trying to swat a fly. But don't allow it to make you hate entire races, entire people. People are just people. They're genius or idiot or somewhere in between. They can be obnoxious or personable. I can be both, sometimes at the same time. So yes, 3 times, this will be my 3rd and final apology. Mr. Barclay, I apologise for the way I phrase things. But what I'm trying to get through to you is the experiences of your relatives, horrifying though they were, shouldn't colour your judgment on what's going on now. Part of the reason these things are going on is because people on both sides are letting their judgment be coloured by past experiences. And you do this, nothing will ever change. The grievances of the past need to be left behind so we can cooperate as one people. That is the point I was trying to make very badly. What can I say to end this short video on? Kool-Aid. I was drinking coffee, man. God, bit of tennis elbow going on. I don't know why. I don't play tennis. Yes, and I'm smoking again. Enjoy. I'll probably never monetize this channel, to be quite honest. Any of you who want to talk to me privately, it's Kel Howard on Instagram. And I also have WhatsApp as well, but, you know, where I believe I'm, you know, Howard Kel or whatever, so... Oh, I just gave out my real name on YouTube. Whoops. Don't care. So, anyway. This brief 10 minutes. And by the way, Mr. Barkley, if it wasn't a veiled threat, then I would dearly love you to come to my hometown to discuss history. We would have lots to talk about. If it was a veiled threat, you're welcome.